Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was trying to hurry up and finish my dinner before I jumped on. I guess technically it's lunch where I'm at. I'm in Hawaii babysitting the grandkids. As you can hear, there is grandkid noise in the background, so hopefully their voices will keep it down. But they're watching a Disney movie, so here we are. Anyway, welcome to Let's Talk with BS. I am the S. B is again on vacation, so she is not going to be here with me this evening. So we're just going to chat a little bit. Hopefully, you guys will chime in and we can talk a little bit about natural disasters and the trauma that is caused by them. I want to talk about that because one, there was just a pretty good sized hurricane that hit parts of the country. And I just so happened that in my psychology class, because as you guys know, I am a psychology major as well as Brandy. I am studying to get my PhD in psychology. And one of the projects that we're currently working on is talking about natural disasters as well as man made disasters and the fallout from all of that. So, last week's project I completed was talking about a man made disaster, and I chose to talk about the shooting that happened in Buffalo, New York at the Tops supermarket. Well, this upcoming week, our project is going to be discussing a natural disaster and kind of, what the fallout from that looks like with regard to trauma and recovery. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that on today's show and just see if anybody out there has experienced any of the trauma behind any natural disasters, flooding, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, um, or anything that, happens in nature that may have been destructive in your life. And so, if you have experienced anything like that, either firsthand or secondhand, I'd love for you to chime in and kind of give your thoughts as well. I'm still eating my dinner. So, Hurricane Ian was the most recent natural disaster that I'm aware of that hit land in Florida. Mostly, it seems. It seems that Florida got the brunt of Ian's abuse, and it also hit other parts like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina that I'm aware of. It was a Category 4 hurricane, if I'm not mistaken, with winds up to and maybe even over 150 miles per hour. I know it caused severe damage and severe flooding, and people have been displaced from it. What I am not sure of is the death toll, if there was any. I'm not sure of what that is with regard to this particular hurricane, but one of the parts of our project was to discuss like how does it affect, who does it affect, how does it affect them, how can you support, people who've been affected by disasters and what that looks like. And so I wanted to kind of just, break that down a little bit and talk about like who was affected. So this was a widespread effect, right? Natural disasters generally affect quite a large group of individuals. And so people throughout the state of Florida were affected, and, the other states as mentioned. But on a secondhand level, it also affects those people's families, not only in the businesses, that were hit, destroyed, or shut down because of this as well. So you have so many secondary and tertiary effects of the fallout from natural disasters. And so, you have displaced families that are going to end up having to probably, go stay with other family members. So that's going to put an additional quote unquote burden on that household, now because you're having more people to enter that household who wouldn't ordinarily have been there. And so they may not have necessarily been prepared for that sort of thing. You have businesses, so now you're having business owners losing income, which is losing income in their households because the business is closed. And so what are you going to do, with regard to that? And then how many of those people, not just homeowners or home renters and business owners even, were not prepared? Even though you live in an area that gets hit, you should be prepared. But what about the ones that were not, with regard to, insurance that will help you to rebuild after a hurricane, right? So you have those issues as well. So that's just some of the ways that people are affected. And then also who is affected. So, what about the support? And we're probably not going to be on here long today, you guys, but I did definitely want to ensure that I jumped on and give you guys something with some substance today. So, we have support. What does that look like with regard to people who have been victims of natural disasters? So, you have the obvious, right? The financial support, and you can do that directly or indirectly by directly giving money to the families that were hit the hardest, or you can donate to organized fundraising efforts. But be careful with that sort of thing because, people often pray. Humans are evil, right? Like it just is what it is. And so people often will prey on these types of headlines with regard to, people suffering. And there are people out there who will prey on that and will start phoning GoFundMe's and things like that so that they can get money, from the country, to fatten their pockets rather than actually helping the victims of these types of tragedies. So be careful with that. Do your research, dig a little bit, make sure that it is an appropriate funding source to go directly to people that have been affected. So that's one way of support. Um, I also feel like there should be, if there is not, a significant portion of state and or federal aid available for disasters. Um, period. Any kind of disaster, whether it be natural or man-made. I'm sorry, guys, about the background noise, but I'm babysitting little kids, so I can't really leave them alone for an hour and jump on. So bear with me through the process. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like there should be state and federal aid that is set aside, be it through taxing efforts or whatever the case may be, um, that should be designated to a disaster recovery pot, you know, um, and that should, to me, be more so on a federal level so that it can be. It may be. I don't even know actually if this is a thing or not. Maybe that's where FEMA comes from. Maybe that's what I don't know, but if there isn't, there definitely should be, so, and make it easily accessible for people who have been traumatized by such events. So that's another way. Also, what's gonna come into play, are things like counseling and therapy and even life coaching. You guys know that I have a life coaching practice and I do help people with trauma recovery. That's actually my niche, but I also do other things like life purpose and happiness. I also coach people in public speaking and different things like that, writing and stuff like that. But my niche specifically is helping people to heal from trauma. And so life coaches can be beneficial as well. But I would say in situations like this, it probably would be more beneficial initially to seek counseling and or therapy, and then from there bring in a life coach to kind of help wrap up those efforts and help to continue to push you further into your healing process from whatever type of traumatic event it is that you have experienced. um, the coaching definitely can work hand in hand with the counseling and therapy, provides a different type of level of service for you. So that's another way of support. Um, and I would just say, also family and community. Family and community are going to be huge support systems as well when it comes to being a victim of a natural disaster. Obviously, family, because again, you may end up displaced, or you may end up displaced from work, or you may end up just with basic human needs, right? Food, water, things like that. So you definitely want to be able to rely on family and friends for that type of support should you need it. But also, it should be from the community as well. I feel like, and it could be like not necessarily the same community that was hit, but a neighboring community or even another state, where businesses and organizations and nonprofits get together and provide that type of support. So it could be food, it could be water, it could be shelter. But then also after that, in the rebuilding process, in the um, process for the kids, like how are they recovering? What do they need in support following these types of disasters? Is it monetary support? Is it support in school? Is it, ongoing therapy because they're experiencing, depression or nightmares or anxiety or whatever following these sorts of things? So, is it scholarships or sponsorships for whatever? So just dig in a little bit in your community and just help to provide the necessities for other people in your or neighboring communities that need your help because they've experienced some sort of disaster. That's what we're here for, right? Like as humans, biblically, we're supposed to take care of one another. We're supposed to have each other's backs. We're supposed to shoulder the burden of our brother and sister, right? And so when natural disasters hit, it's definitely a burden on the people that it hit. Even if you live in an area where it's expected, right? Just like the people who live in the tornado belt, like they expect tornadoes to happen, right? But even still, even when it happens, it's still disastrous, right? It still ruins things and it causes you grief and pain and physical issues with regard to your stuff, things that you've built, your home, your possessions. It may even affect your body. You may have injuries, you may have illnesses that develop behind these sorts of things. And so you want to just be supportive, just be supportive and understanding, open-minded with regard to helping others that have experienced these sorts of natural disasters. And like I said earlier, though, also, you know, stay on guard, not guarded as far as not willing to open up and help, but stay on guard for potential scams of people trying to get money from you based on these headlines and they don't actually need it or they weren't actually involved, they weren't actually affected in any other way, and they're not doing anything other than scamming you. So just, do your due diligence and just ensure that what you are doing is going to the right sources, the right people in the right places. So that is kind of all that I really wanted to talk about today with regard to natural disasters and what the effect of natural disasters look like. I wasn't intending on staying on here long today for a couple of reasons. Excuse me. One, because again, I'm in Hawaii. I'm babysitting the grandkids. And also, B is not here. So it's just me. I don't have a special guest today. So I'm not going to stay on here long. I just wanted to kind of give you guys that message based on the project that I had just completed and also based on the fact that there was just a natural disaster that hit our land. So if hopefully that information helped you. If it did, let us know in any of the comments from any of the platforms that we're streaming from. If you have anything to add, please do so in the comments as well. Also, if you have been affected, definitely leave comments and let us know how you're doing, what needs you still may have. Maybe there are organizations or people that we can connect you with to be able to get that help. But we definitely want to just pray for everybody out there who was affected by Hurricane Ian. Just let you guys know that you are in our thoughts and our prayers. And if there is any way that we can help, we definitely will do that, or try to connect you with the resources to get the help that it is that you need. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Next week we will be back. It is national. No, I'm sorry, not next week. 2 weeks. It is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so we will be talking about that for the next week, and then also it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we will have breast cancer survivor on the following 2 weeks, so the end of the month, and then some really cool lineups for November. So stay tuned, you guys. Subscribe, like, wherever you're finding this podcast at. Join us so that you can get the updates and so that you can get notified when the new segments are out. And continue to follow us. You guys continue to rock with us. If you have mental health or trauma related topics that you would like us to discuss, or if you want to be a guest with regard to trauma or mental health, then reach out to us. You can email me at info@lilachealthandhealing.com. That's info at lilac, LILAC, healthandhealing.com. Send me an email or DM me on any of these platforms that you are finding this podcast on. But reach out and let us know what you want to discuss or if you want to be a guest. And I look forward to talking with you more in the future. But I am going to go ahead and jump off for now. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. So have a wonderful Sunday evening. Take care.